Hannah, how have you been doing this week?
It's been a good week.
That's really great to hear. So today we're going to look forward and also look back at the same time, and we're going to do some evaluation just of the case plan that we've had and the progress that you've made and the improvements that you're seeing in your life now 6 months, close to 6 months after we started our first initial meeting. So if we can take a moment to just reflect and look back over these past 6 months and just like back to the very beginning, what would you say your life looked like then?
I think I felt pretty hopeless and kind of like stuck where I was, living in the shelter and not having a job. I just didn't know what I was doing or where my life was going at that point.
Yeah, I remember those really tough conversations that we've had, and seeing how you've addressed those throughout this process has been a really neat experience for both of us. And like the progress that you've made is really encouraging. Anything else about just reflection on the process and what all of that has looked like?
Yeah, I think it's been harder than I expected. I think I was kind of just hoping for a quick fix type of thing. But I think because it's been so hard, I have more confidence in myself and I feel like a healthy, functioning adult who can make my own decisions, which I definitely would not have thought when we first started meeting.
That's really great to hear. I've definitely seen your confidence and just the way that you carry yourself has been improving this entire time, and that's something I wanted to commend you for because you've made a lot of progress, and we can continue to look at some of the things that you've done in this plan today, which is something I look forward to doing as well. So today we're going to be doing some of the evaluation, just about the things that you've accomplished and the tasks that you've completed and all of that kind of stuff. So if you want to look here with me, the evaluation document that we'll be filling out today highlights the objective 1, 2, 3, and 4, which we created in our case plan, which I can review with you here real quick. So the first one was Ms. Hunt will achieve and maintain sobriety. Objective, and then I'll put that here at the top, and then objective 2 will be Ms. Hunt will address her mental health so as not to be a threat to herself or others. Then the third one, Ms. Hunt will be maintaining stable employment, and then the fourth one would be Ms. Hunt will obtain and maintain a stable and safe living environment. So yeah, I'll put these out here at the top, and then as we go through, we'll go through one by one, and then I'm going to have you rank them. So 0 would be the most unfavorable outcome likely, and then 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then as it goes up, the fourth one would be the best anticipated success. So in your eyes, 0 would be we didn't accomplish anything. I still feel like we need to address this because it's a big problem. And then 4 would be this is an area that I feel very confident in, and this is one that I would have never expected to be in this good of a place at the beginning of this. So we can start with the first one here. I'll have you look at the case plan, and then we will start with objective 1, which is Ms. Hunt will achieve and maintain sobriety through May 2nd, 2020. So if you can, we can look through these tasks, and then we could just talk about what that has looked like and the ones that you've done and the ones that you haven't done. So go ahead, and if you want to take a look at those.
Yeah, I think I've done all of them. So I would say 4.
A 4?
Yeah.
That's really great to hear. So let's look at some of the tasks here. So you've attended AA twice a week, and that's been going really well, right?
Yeah.
And then you have met with a sponsor once a week still?
Yeah. We started off having scheduled meetings, but now it's kind of just I call her whenever I want to. She, I don't know, she's kind of become a mom to me. So I just call her to tell her about my life and what I'm doing. And,
yeah, it sounds like you've got a really great support there and a really good friend. Yeah, that's really great to hear, Hannah. And then, so task number 2 was removing people and places and things. I know that was a little bit more of a difficult one we talked about in our earlier meetings. How has that been going?
Yeah, I think being at the shelter helped a lot. because I wasn't, like, you can't have alcohol there, so I wasn't around it. People was a little harder because I just felt like I didn't know anybody except the people that I would go out and get drunk with. So, I don't know, that was a little bit of a struggle in the beginning, because I would still want to go hang out with them. So, I did a couple times, but, like, I didn't drink, but I still, like, every time I left there, I just felt like if I went again, then I would start drinking. But I just, like, I went in the out of the shelter and didn't know where else to go. So,
yeah. I know that was something that was really hard, but I want to commend you. I know it was difficult, but you've made a lot of progress, especially in that task. How about task number 5? It says that you would attend and complete an addiction counseling program. I know that you guys were still in the midst of that the last time we met. How has that been going? Did you complete that one?
I did, yeah. I'm done with that. So.
And, okay, so what is, like, one takeaway that you've gotten throughout that?
They talked a lot about just not really distracting yourself, but, like, not dwelling on temptation. And so, like, when I would get the urge to drink, like, doing something else, like, replacing bad urges with good urges. So, yeah.
What did that look like? What were some of the things that you kind of replaced with?
I started running a little bit just because I wanted to get out of the shelter.
Yeah, and that was number 4 too, so like, that kind of worked hand in hand, which is really nice.
Yeah. And I think, like, now that I have a job, that's definitely helped. And I also, like, I used my first paycheck at my job to buy myself a nicer guitar. And it was sort of, like, rewarding myself for where I got. So I think that's been a good outlet for me too.
And that's something you invested in because you earned that money and then invested it back into yourself. So you, like, fed into, like, a healthy cycle there, which is a really great thing, Hannah. So under this one, for the number 4 that you said, we can write that you completed all of those tasks because we have to fill in evidence of meeting those objectives. So I'll put tasks 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is really great, Hannah. And it's really cool to see how each task built into the completing that objective. All right, so let's move on to the second one, which would be Ms. Hunt will address her mental health so as to not be a threat to herself or others by February 2nd, 2020. All right, so how do you feel that you've done in that task?
I would say that one's probably a 3.
A 3? Okay.
Yeah.
So more than expected success is still something that I want to commend you. Like, that's still a really good place to be. So let's look at that one a little bit. How about any of these tasks that you did well on, any that you struggled with?
Yeah. So I did apply for Medicaid. And then
And you received that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And so then I went for a mental health assessment, and they set me up with some medication, which has been helping a lot. And then also, like, going to counseling, I think has helped a lot.
Yeah, here at Lancaster County Counseling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just kind of, the reason I didn't give a 4 is I kind of feel like I still have more progress to make. So I'm happy with where I am now, but I feel like I could be better.
All right.
So I think maybe if you ask me again in a year, it'll be like a 4, but right now it's only a 3.
And I've seen you come a long way, and just your outlook on things have improved a lot. And I want to commend you for being very self-aware and being honest in the fact that, like, you know, you still have a little bit of improvement to do, but you have come a long way, which is really encouraging. Yeah. All right, what about the other ones?
Yeah, so I don't, this says go to counseling twice a week. I don't go twice a week anymore. I did for a couple months. Now I go twice a month.
Okay.
Which I feel like has really been helping. It's just kind of nice to just be able to sit and talk to somebody.
But you felt you didn't need it as much.
Yeah.
Which is a really good improvement as well.
And then the last one, I called my friend Kate, and we talked for a couple hours, but we've been kind of, like, texting off and on, but it didn't really pan out. Like,
not as, like, one of those support systems.
Yeah. And she's just really busy with her own life. So.
Yeah, and that's completely understandable. You guys are, living in different spots. But I want to commend you for reaching out and trying nonetheless to create that support system there. And I know you found other friends in your community that have filled in for some of that support system. All right, so let's fill this one out. So you said number 3, and then we did task 1, 2, 3. Slightly, we changed that one a little bit from twice a week to twice a month, but still, that was one of the tasks that led into that one. Number 4, and then I won't put number 5 just because it didn't turn into a great support system, but nonetheless, you have found a support system, which I think is something worth mentioning. So I'll put that one under. So we have a spot in the back that says which tasks are still not completed, and provide a rationale for that one. Even though you completed that one, I'm going to put it under that one just as that it didn't pan out the way we expected to. So I'll reach out to high school. Her name was Kate, right? All right, so great. So the next one is objective 3, and it says Miss Hunt will be maintaining stable employment. How has your job been going, Hannah?
It's good. I really like it.
And you ended up at which bank was it again?
First National Bank. Yeah, right in the city.
So. That's really great, Hannah.
Yeah.
And I know you've really been enjoying that. Has there been any recent news since the last time I've heard you?
So I am a bank teller right now, but my manager told me that he is looking at promoting some people, and he wants me to be one of them. I just need to complete this training, and then he's gonna do an assessment of me to see if he thinks I'm ready. But he said right now I'm on his short list for promotion.
That's a really that's a big step, Hannah. I'm so very encouraged by that, and I know this is something you've been working really, really hard towards. Yeah. And you heard about that in the job clinic, didn't you?
Yeah.
So that was a really good task that fed into that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So looking at your the overall objective and the task and everything, how do you think that one has been? If you want to rank that one for me.
I would say that one's a 4.
Great. So we'll mark that one as a 4. So let's look at some of those tasks. So you said you completed that job clinic.
Yeah.
And then we did apply for unemployment, food stamps, those applications for jobs. And then how did everything go there?
Yeah. So I had unemployment for about a month. And I kept food stamps for about 3 months. But once I got a job, I didn't really need that anymore. So yeah, I did those, but I don't have them anymore.
Yeah, which is completely understandable, and that's also really encouraging because you're able to maintain your finances without having to have that government assistance, which is something that allows you to be more independent, which is really great.
Yeah. I only ended up applying for a couple jobs because the bank hired me. So
which is the job you wanted, right?
Yeah.
So it ended up working out really well.
Yeah.
And then I remember we created that resume in the beginning, which was really helpful for you, I know. So for that one, we can put task number 1, and we can put 2 through 3 as well, even though you didn't really continue those services, but nonetheless, those were ones that helped you to get to where you were. And then also 4 and 5 helped as well. So I guess all of those ones led into having that stable employment there, which is really great. I'm so glad that you are happy at your job and even have that opportunity to promote and then to get a little bit more money to keep investing in your future, which is great, Hannah. Yeah. So the objective 4, the last one, was Ms. Hunt will obtain and maintain a stable and safe living environment by May 2nd, 2020. How's that been going?
It's good. I have an apartment now. I live with a girl from the shelter, actually. We both moved out at the same time. So I've been in there for about 2 months.
And she has a job as well?
Yeah, she's a waitress.
Oh, so. Great. So you guys have been able to work together and do the rent and all that stuff. Do you really like your apartment?
I do. It's kind of small for right now, so I'm hoping if I do get promoted that we can maybe move into something bigger. Because then I think I could afford to pay a little bit more of my rent, and even if she can't, I can just do it. So yeah, we're working towards a better apartment, but for right now, this one's good.
That's really great to hear, Hannah. All right, how about some of these some of the tasks that we've worked on throughout this process?
Yeah, so I mean, when I was at the shelter, we had been like concerned that they were gonna kick me out. But I sort of like mended that relationship, so they didn't kick me out. So I just kind of left when I needed to, like after I'd worked for a couple weeks and like gotten a paycheck and could like put down some money. So yeah, that kind of, I didn't have to do the application for the Section 8 housing.
So we can put that one in the back section here.
Yeah, and I also, task number 3, I used my first paycheck, so I didn't have to get the loan.
You didn't actually have to do 1, 2, or 3, right? Because you didn't have the application, you didn't have to find the apartment, obviously, that fit those qualifications, and then you use your first paycheck to have that security deposit, which is really great. So even though you didn't complete those tasks, I think that because you mended that relationship with your the shelter, it led into you being able to stay there, which allowed you to give you time and space so that you could get some money so that you could invest in a really nice apartment that you're living in now, which is great. So I want to encourage you that even though you didn't complete those tasks, they still work towards accomplishing that objective really well. So I'll write that 1, 3 on objective 4. All right, so if we want to rank that one, how do you think you accomplished that one from 0 to 4?
I would say that one's a 4 too.
I think so as well. I think that's a good answer. And then we'll put 4 and 5 for that one as evidence that you've completed that one to the best anticipated success. Is there any other things you want to talk about? Any milestones you've overcome? Any hard things? Any really encouraging things that you are going to take away from this process?
I think it was really hard for me in the beginning to admit that I needed help and that I had a problem, like specifically with alcohol, like admitting that was actually an issue. And so I think those first couple of weeks were really hard for me because I kept like seeing how bad my life is, like I couldn't be in denial anymore. But then like now I look back on it and like I'm just really thankful that I went through that because like I made it through that. So yeah,
that's really encouraging, and the perseverance that you've displayed throughout this process has been incredible to watch, which I want to commend you for as well. All right, so looking forward, we've filled out this evaluation, we've filled out the case plan, we've completed that, and I have to decide right here if I'm going to move forward and pass this on to my supervisor so we can work towards termination, or if I would have continued to keep this case open. But I don't see any reason as to keep it open because you've been meeting all of these tasks and completing all these tasks and working towards objectives, which is always a process. And I think you understand that, especially with objective 2 here. And you've talked about the fact that you want to continue to work towards being in a better place mentally, which is something I want to commend you for as well.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put that we can move towards closure, and then within the next meeting or so, we will, based on what my supervisor says, we can work towards termination. I know that termination can be something that's a little bit scary for some people, not having these meetings regularly where we can talk about stuff. How do you feel about moving towards termination?
Yeah, I think it's going to be good for me. Like still working on building that independence. But I think it's going to be kind of hard for me not to have something to fall back on.
Yeah, but I also want to encourage you that you've created other things that you can fall back on. Like your roommate, I know you're really close with her, the girl from the shelter, and different things in your life that you've like set up for yourself for like success. That if you do have a stumbling block, and even with your sponsor, like you have support systems that allow you to have a little bit of a safety net. So yeah, I think that's a really good outlook on things. So looking forward to what's next. We will get back with my supervisor and see what the next steps are from there, and then probably have one more meeting just about termination and what that looks like going forward. Do you have any more questions, Hannah?
Nope.
All right, sounds good. Have a great week.
Thanks.